Assalamu alaikum, peace be unto you. I remember coming to the first meeting like this that I attended. I think it was in 2013. And what an amazing feeling it was for me to meet another human being with ocular melanoma. It's a very rare disease. When you're diagnosed, it's quite possible that you don't know anybody with it, and it can be very difficult to meet them. I hope it's okay to ask you questions. If you're shy, just don't respond. But if you've been diagnosed with ocular melanoma in the past 12 months, would you put up your hand, please? Okay, so we have some wonderful new people joining the family. And Cure OM does a wonderful job of bringing people together and providing a sense of community at a time of suffering. I was born in Ireland. Sarah told you that already. She didn't tell you when, and I won't either. And I have lived in many parts of the world. I settled in Canada, and I wander from there. I was diagnosed with ocular melanoma in 2010, and it came as a complete surprise. I saw myself as a very well person. I still do. And I found that there was absolutely no support of any kind for me. I was referred to the Cancer Agency, which handles all cancer cases in my province. And I had already checked with Google and learned some things that I really didn't want to know. And so I asked at my first meeting what kind of tracking would be in place. And I was told that there would be no tracking because there was no point. So I adopted the ostrich approach and went on with my life and ignored the reality until March 2012. I had just come back from 2 weeks of Vipassana in a Thai monastery on top of a mountain on a distant island. Arrived back in Canada, and the first evening I had a lot of pain that I didn't really understand, so I went to the hospital, and that ended up with a diagnosis of metastasis in my abdomen. I met with many people who dealt with melanoma in Vancouver, and the answer was still the same. There's really nothing we can do to help people. So you just have to organize your life. That wasn't really the answer that I wanted to hear or that I wanted to accept, and so I didn't. And 2012 was very early days for immunotherapy, but I was able to access immunotherapy on a compassionate access basis. And I didn't have a wonderful response, and so I did that in the fall of 2012. And in January 2013, my oncologist said that it was time for me to register for hospice. So I did that and thought, this is not making sense. This doesn't feel like the real me. And so I decided that I would go out in a blaze. And I'm a long-distance runner, so I looked around for the most difficult race that I could find. And it was the Comrades Ultramarathon in South Africa, where you start around 3 a.m. in the morning, and you run 87 kilometers up through a series of mountains into KwaZulu. And I thought that would be a lovely place to end my story. That's where we all That's where we all started, and so perhaps that's where I will end. So I trained, and I flew off to South Africa. I had one friend, this is when you really need friends, a much younger friend who said, you can't possibly do this on your own. Nobody could do that on their own. So he came with me, and we ran together. And after 10 hours and 25 minutes, only 5 minutes of which was rest, we reached the finish line, and I thought, I was right, they are wrong. I'm here to stay. So, what I would say to people who have had a primary diagnosis or a metastatic diagnosis is, first of all, try to be as calm as you possibly can under the circumstances. It's not easy. There are options now. It's very different now than the way it looked in 2012. Sarah and Greg's work is paying off big time. And I just would really like to emphasize how much I value Sarah's friendship and my relationship with Cure OM and the help that I have received from them. I'm not sure when Sarah did her slides whether you saw that Cure OM is an acronym. And so C is for community, U is for united, R is for research, and E is for education. Some people think, oh, it's just Cure OM. It's more than that. And Sarah gave a nice demonstration of the range of services provided, how it strives to increase awareness, education, and has gotten its hands on an enormous amount of research funding, 1.5 million. It's very hard to imagine that in a short time. And my experience is that they really do improve the lives of people affected by disease. When I was asked by Lauren if I would talk to people at the beginning of the conference, I said, of course, I always do. And I said, well, what's it about? And she said, vision. And so I instantly thought, okay, ocular melanoma, it's about vision problems. And so I have been struggling a little bit in my hotel room. I don't know whether the carpet is the same in all of them, but there's this really peculiar pattern with wavy lines. And so I find myself negotiating my room in athletic stance with feet hip-width apart in a slight crouching position and arms extended for balance. And I'm always so happy to reach the bathroom with its comforting square ceramic tiles. I want to finish with some tips that I would give to myself if I was starting my journey again. And so what I've discovered is the biggest problem for me always was, how do I stay in a good state of mind as I go through these challenging experiences? And so the very first thing that I would say to you is we're all on a journey and we don't know where it will end. We're not alone. It's very important, has been very important to me to stay strong, to keep my body strong, to exercise it. And there are so many ways that you can do that. I know there are some people who are allergic to exercise, but I encourage you to get over that, get out there and use your body. Your body was designed to move. It's as simple as that. So the more you move, the better you will feel. There are many ways of trying to calm your mind. I've spent a lot of time studying and teaching yoga and doing meditation. They're immensely useful. Getting out into nature, especially if you live in a built environment, as most of us do, connecting with nature is immensely important. There's a lot of beauty there, and it's very, very calming. It's important to practice love. And it's lovely to see Juliana creeping into the room just now, on her knees, trying not to be noticed. All of your relationships are very valuable to you. So spend a lot of time thinking about how much you love other people and how much other people love you. And try to extend your love to trees and the sky and the ocean. Because believe me, we're all interconnected. That's where we came from, and that's where we will go to. Practice gratefulness. So ideally, as soon as you open your eyes in the morning, the very first thing that comes into your mind, if possible, is to say, thank you. Your very first words to greet the new day. You have arrived. You've come through the night, and you're starting another beautiful day on the planet. Read. You can read about ocular melanoma, or you can read about Harry Potter, or you can, your choice of reading. Reading is a lovely way to learn and to increase your happiness factor by choosing well. I mentioned gratitude and being thankful, and I wanted to practice that by thanking Sarah and Lauren and the Cure OM team for being a very welcoming group to me and an inspirational group. Thank you to Natalie Richardson, my partner in building Ocumel Canada. And I wish you a very, very beautiful conference. I hope you enjoy every moment. Thank you.